good one. So today we have Dr. Thaddeus Jones, and he is here today, and he's going to, if you're just thinking about starting a business, if you're in a newer business, he's going to break everything down for you that you need to know. I mean, I think we're starting from maybe even the basics of what an LLC is. Yep. I mean, all the way to financing, running a business. And he's going to give you a lot of information in the next, 30 minutes or so. So everybody just let's give Dr. Thaddeus a welcome.
Who is that man in the picture?
I don't know. He's handsome.
You should have known when you used that picture. I was going to say something.
That's a handsome fellow right there.
That was young Thaddeus.
That's a young. Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing? I'm Dr. Thaddeus Jones. Thank y'all for coming out. Man, it was good to see all y'all faces out here. I thought I was going to be talking to a room by myself, but I'm glad to see everybody here. How many people are well into their business journey? How many people are here because they want to know how to get started well off into their business journey? I'm going to give you a little bit of information here. We're going to keep it, again, this is part of the Dollar and a Dream series created by Anthony Ned back here. And so we want to thank him for that. And so we're going to talk about business structure and competition. We're going to move pretty fast so I can have a lot of time for questions from you. We're going to cover the basics and go from there. So let's get started. Hopefully this works here. Let's see. There we go. All right. So basic business structures, right? Most of you probably have heard of these terms. I'm not going to read them off, but we're going to talk about them. Sole proprietorships, right? Partnerships, LLCs, probably the one you hear of the most right now, right? Corporations, S-corps, nonprofits, and co-ops. All these slides, by the way, I have as handouts for you, so I'm not going to spend time reading them to you. I know you all can read. I'm going to give you these to go home with, and if you need to go back through and find and circle and all that stuff, there's some information in here for you, okay? But most of us, our first entry into being a business owner is a sole proprietorship, right? We start a business and we're doing business under our name, right? I'm a photographer, and when I started, it was Thaddeus Jones Photography. Yay! And I was out there just taking pictures of every single thing, and then I realized I had to do the editing and all the other stuff that went along with it. And so many of you might be familiar with this, right? You're the person. You're the guy, you're the gal, you're the person. You wear all the hats, right? You have to be responsible for understanding your finance. You have to be responsible for if you're going to get paid time off or not, which there's no such thing as an entrepreneur that paid time off. Just to burst that bubble for you. You're responsible for your dental, your vision, all of that stuff. You have checked out of the structured systems of working for someone, and now you are working for yourself. You're a sole proprietor, right? This is the stage that most people jump off into because they are hesitant about getting one of the other corporate entities, or what we call disregarded entities, started. They don't know how. I'm going to walk you through the most common, right? Many of you know about C Corps, S Corps. You heard about those, right? But those are not necessarily the first ones that you jump into. Okay? The most used currently is the LLC. Okay? It's the most recognized. How many people have heard of an LLC? Right? There are some things that the LLC does for you that the sole proprietorship does not. Right? One of them is protect you. If you are a sole proprietor, you have opened up yourself, your personal self, for anything that goes wrong. I will share a little bit about that with you as well. I was sued. Yes, I was hired to do something. I was sued. I didn't know the right steps to take. I didn't know who to contact. And it tripped me up for a while. Okay? with your LLC, I think this just died on me. With your LLC, you are protected as long as you do a few things. Okay? One of the things. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I will destroy that microphone. How about this? This is better. Okay. So, LLC protects you, right? It separates your personal from your business. That makes sense to everybody, right? It protects you if you are sued. It protects you if you are your funds and taxing. One of the biggest things that it helps with is your tax situation. You can now write off some of the things that go along with running a business. Some of the space in your home, some of the supplies and things of that nature, right? Now they've added a caveat. For this LLC in South Carolina currently, you can go to the South Carolina State Treasury Secretary of State office on the backside of is South Main is where you would enter and actually file for your LLC there. Now, you need to know a couple things before you go in to do that. You need to have, if you're going to have a trademark, a service mark, you need to have that and a physical copy of that. Okay, so you can submit it. You need to have a word description of those things. And I'm giving you these. We can talk more about it later if you want to go into detail. Once you do that, you will pay your money. I think at one point in time it's $115. I think it's $125 now. And each service mark is an additional cost. So if you get a trademark added to your LLC, it's an additional $25, $15 to $25. Okay. Same thing for service marks. Okay. And if you don't know what a trademark and service mark is, we can talk afterwards. Okay. So these are the basic things, but here's the other part. This will allow you to start building business credit. Okay. And in order to do this, before you go and do this, you need to register with the IRS. Okay. The IRS will give you something called an EIN number. Okay. That EIN number is free. Lots of people will charge you to give you a free EIN. I never understood that, but people just don't want to do the thing. So the IRS website, you can go, fill it out. It asks you a bunch of questions. Sit down with some time. Take time. Have an idea of what your business is really going to do. Because when you file that EIN number, it is a fixed number for your business. So you can't just be like, oh, well, I want to change it now. Right? That doesn't work. Okay? You have to file a new EIN number. They've also introduced something called FinCEN, I believe is what it's called. It's about being an owner of a corporation or a business, and you have to declare that. It's fairly new. It's just took place. It comes into effect January of 2024, which earlier this year, right? But you have the rest of this year. If you started a business already, you have the rest of this year to file with it. It is not hard to fill out. It's just asking you who has an interest, a vested interest in the company. All right, because as we know, the big companies go, oh, no, I don't have a vested, but they're influencing the decisions of the company. And so this is an attempt at the government to be transparent. And for all us little folks that are single member or multi-member LLCs, there's not a whole lot that we have to fill out to go through to do it. I believe 501c3s are exempt, but do your research on that because they cover, that particular thing covers two entities, which is foreign entities, which means you're a company that exists on foreign land or territory, and domestic. So I know I gave you a ton of information there, but if you have questions afterwards, be happy to answer. Okay?
Dr. T.
Yes.
Before you leave, one thing to remember, if you look at the form and are getting an EIN, right,
Mm-hmm.
if you Google "get me an EIN," you're going to get a response back that's got
All
a half
sales.
a dozen people and companies in front of the Internal Revenue Service.
That's right.
Always go to IRS.gov.
.gov. Absolutely. If you just Google it, like Tom said, you're going to get a ton of people that are selling you that service. Legal Zoom.
It looks
real.
It
looks real.
Said, okay, give us $150.
And we got you, right? Yeah. No, that is not the way to go. Same thing when you file for your LLC. If you put that in, you're going to get all these companies that will say that they can do it for you, 200, 300, 500, 1,000, 1,500, depending on how deep you want to go, and they will offer you the moon. We're going to give you your articles of incorporation. You get that anyway. We're going to give you a nice little binder to put it in. You can get one from Staples. All right. We're going to give you a stamp to make your documents official. You can get that yourself. I paid $10 for mine. Okay. Don't get caught up in the other businesses that are trying to make money off of you starting your business. If you have questions, there are tons of resources. Talk to another business owner, right, that knows. Or go to the SBA, right? Or come here. Come to 1 Million Cups. There are lots of business owners here that have been in business for a long time and gone through this process. This is now your community. So please feel free, drop in on a Wednesday. Hey, I just really wanted to ask you a question. We'd love to have you. That's what we're here for. That's the point we're trying to get across, and that's where we want everybody to feel comfortable enough to come in and have this conversation about this entrepreneurial journey, because you're not alone. You're only alone if you think you're alone, right? If you want to be alone, then you can be. But if you are looking for support, we're here. Okay, moving on. That didn't look like that before. Well, competition. We're going to move on to talk about your competition. How many people familiar with that? Y'all know what that is?
Spy versus spy.
Spy versus spy?
Mad Magazine.
Yeah, Mad Magazine. Yeah, you got to be a little mad to get into entrepreneurship. You got to be a little right? Because it's hard. You go from working a 9 to 5 to 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. Easily. Never having an off button, right? I get phone calls all night. My wife is like, yeah, buddy, we're going to need to start turning the phone off at 9 o'clock. But I'm getting business calls. Yeah, this is family time. So there's a balance that needs to be struck for your family life. But, as entrepreneurs, we tend to go. We tend to go and go and go and grind until the next idea hits or something strikes, right? And this is part of that, right? Understanding who you are competing against. It is a competition to a certain extent. You have certain businesses that will do exactly what you do. I'm a photographer, videographer. I have lots of other photographer, videographers here. Now, what I offer may not be exactly what they offer, but we work in the media space, right? They're direct competitors with me. I have to think about what's going to set me apart, right? What's going to make me different? What's going to make Tom choose Fanatic Productions over another Pearson group or another photography group that is able to do the same thing that I do? Right? And then we have our indirect competitors, right? People that kind of work in the same space, but they don't do exactly what you do, right? They offer the same or similar products, okay? All of this information, again, is going to be available for you in the little handouts. The biggest piece that we want to get across is that you should do some research. You should think about who you are as a business, what you're going to provide, whether it's a service or a product, right? And who you are competing with in Columbia, if that's your area, in the Southeast region, if that's where you're trying to be, right? Your geographical location. Are you competing with people online? Right? Are there other people that do what you do that would offer their service from a distance? Okay? All of these things are thoughts that you have to have as a fledgling business owner. When we talked about the business plan, right? If you were here for that, what was that? 3 weeks ago, when we talked about the business plan, right? This is part of that business plan. Yeah, that's right. That Al did, right? This is part of that. Understanding who your competition is and what you are up against is necessary, right? Because you can't make informed decisions about how you are going to move if you don't know what's going on out in your industry, okay? This is also part of coming to 1 Million Cups. You are networking. This is research, all right? I can meet another photographer and videographer in here and understand what it is that they are offering. Ooh, that's a nice niche. That's not my niche, but it's a nice niche of what they're offering, right? How can I work together with this person to enhance what they're doing? And instead of a spirit of competition, God bless you, sorry, we can foster a spirit of collaboration, okay? Where we can help lift each other up. Part of that is I have a unique skill set. I also teach. I teach with Midlands Tech. I don't look at my students as competition. They do the same thing. They've learned from me, and I try to get them jobs. They work with me because that's part of my legacy, right? Everybody that I train goes out. I try to foster and help them be the best at whatever it is that they're trying to do. Because no matter what, I'm not going to see it the way they see it, and they're not going to see it the way I see it, even though we have some things to in common, right? And some things in place. So there are plenty of resources out there, websites, blog content, social media things that you can find. But the biggest takeaway about this is that you should be utilizing these principles to fully educate yourself on what it is that you're trying to do, where you fit in the market currently, and what kind of growth you can expect from your own business. All right, I tried not to go long. I wanted to leave it open for questions. I have handouts up here. Thank you very much, and open the floor for questions.